Alright, so this is calibrating the hammer using the spindle face. So you can see I got the relative coordinates up on the information screen. Alright, so you see we got a 1, 2, 3 block here. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring the spindle face down below the top surface of that 1, 2, 3 block. Alright, so you can see it's below. I can't slide the 1, 2, 3 block underneath it. So then we're going to slowly raise it until the block goes underneath it. Almost there. Then we're going to lower it back down, and then we're going to switch over. So that was times 100, so this is going to be times 10, right? And then we'll do the same thing until the block goes underneath it. And then we'll lower it back down, and then we'll switch over to the tenths. So we'll start to raise it right there. I only had to go about a click. You want a little bit of drag on that, and you'll get the feel of it. You'll understand it. And now we'll go back to the screen. So we'll go back to the screen here. Let me zoom out. And then we're going to zero our Z coordinates. So Z0. See that down there, and then we'll hit enter. And now it's 0. So then we'll come back over here. Raise the spindle up. And then you can put your 3D sensor in, whether you got a Heimer or a TS Korn like this, or one of the other brands. And you bring that down. And we'll zoom in on that. Alright, so then we see that it's 0. I'm going to zoom back out, come back up to the screen, and there you go. That's your height, 8.812. Now this machine's cold, I mean really cold. I don't have heat out here. I think when it came out here it was about 38 degrees. But you see when the machine's warmed up, that's the height I have, 8.174, 8.0174, right? So, I mean, it's still fairly close, but if you want to do this with the spindle warm, all your gauge equipment and stuff warm, and then 8.0174, I've actually tested that, this method and using an indicator, and they're always within a tenth. So that's the first method, and then there's another method that's just about as easy. And let me reset the camera, and we'll show you that method. All right, so this method is really the exact same thing, except for using a standard tool or a gauge tool here. So again, you bring it down. So it's below the surface of the gauge tool. Raise it up to it just slides under. All right, switch over to tenths. Probably one more. Right about there. So again, I'll show you coming back over here. Z, 0, enter to enter out, or to zero out our relative. And we raise this up and put our 3D sensor back in. Bring this down and zero our 3D sensor. Zoom in so you can see that. You see that's 0. And then if we come over here, we read our relative, which is 4.6829. So we take that number, and then we have to add our height of our standard gauge, and then that'll give our overall Z height for our Hymer. And that's it. It's really the same method. The easiest method is probably just using the spindle face. I do it both ways, just depends on what's going on. So anyways, that's how you do it. And then of course, just real quick, and then of course you store that length in the tool table. So every time you bring up that tool, or every time you put your Hymer in or your 3D sensor in, then you use that tool. And I'll show you on my screen where I have it stored. Hold on. All right, let's go back over here. And then you can see number 95, right? That's where I have it stored. So every time I use the Hymer, you know, I identify it as tool 95. Or however, when it's written on there, you can do that, but you have this Z-set screen that says, hey, where's it at? And this just helps you set it a lot easier. So